It feels like every AI company out there is racing to help us write and code faster. But what about design? That's always been this massive bottleneck, right? If you're not a designer yourself, you're probably stuck fiddling with tools like Canva, or worse, just waiting in line for a designer to free up. It's a huge time sink. But it looks like Anthropic has been quietly working on a solution to this exact problem. Okay, let's dive in. This quote pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? It's a pain point almost everyone feels. But imagine this. What if an AI could learn your entire brand, your colors, your fonts, your whole style, and just start creating visuals as if it's been on your team for months? Well, that's the promise of the new tool we're breaking down today, Claude Design. So, here's our game plan for the next few minutes. We're going to cover what this tool actually is, how it works under the hood, see which industries are getting shaken up, put it head-to-head with its biggest rival, and then give you our final take. All right, first up, let's really get to grips with what Claude Design is and, more importantly, what makes its approach so different from all the other tools you might have seen. So, Claude Design is not your standard chatbot. Instead of just a text box, it gives you this really cool workspace with a design canvas right next to a chat interface. You just describe what you want, and boom, the AI builds it right there on the canvas. From that point, you can tweak it by just talking to it, or you can jump in and edit things directly on the canvas yourself. And here's the absolute secret sauce. Before it even thinks about creating a single pixel, Claude Design learns your entire brand system. You feed it your logos, your style guides, your Figma files. It literally absorbs your specific hex codes and font families so that everything it creates from then on is automatically perfectly on brand. No more going back and fixing every little detail. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does this actually play out in a real workflow? Let's walk through it step by step, from a simple text idea all the way to code that's ready to go. The whole process is actually incredibly simple. It starts with that one-time brand onboarding. Once that's done, you just type a prompt in plain English, something like, design a splash screen for a calm meditation app. In seconds, Claude generates the layout. Then you can start editing, drag stuff around, chat with it to say, make that header bigger. And when you're happy, export it to PDF, PowerPoint, or for the developers as a complete, ready-to-use code package. So how in the world can it process all that brand information at once? Well, the answer is it's absolutely massive memory, or what the experts call a context window. We're talking 200,000 tokens. To put that in perspective, that's like processing a 150-page brand book in one shot. This lets it hold your entire design language in its memory for any task, and it's all powered by their latest model, Claude Opus 4.6 Sixumm. Now let's peek under the hood at a few other key features. Its vision capability is so good, you can literally upload a sketch you drew on a napkin and ask it to create a design from it. For the tech-savvy, there's full API access. You also get flexibility. You can choose between different models depending on whether you need max quality, speed, or low cost. And really important for businesses, it's private by default. It's not training on your proprietary data. This all sounds great, but where is it actually making a difference? Let's take a look at the real-world uses and the industries that are already feeling the impact of this new tech. For big companies, this is a total game changer. Think about it. Product managers and marketers can now spin up on-brand mockups or pitch decks in minutes instead of waiting for days. For creative agencies, it's become an idea accelerator. They can generate 3 different campaign ideas for a client in the time it used to take to build just one. And for developers, that direct pipeline from design straight to code, that's a workflow that just flat out didn't exist before. And the impact goes way beyond just tech and marketing. In education, teachers are using it to instantly create infographics for their lessons. In heavily regulated fields like healthcare and finance, it's fantastic for drafting things like internal reports. But, and this is a big but, human verification is absolutely non-negotiable here. The AI is an amazing tool, but it's not the final authority. Okay, time for the main event. How does Claude Design actually stack up against its biggest competitor, OpenAI's GPT models? Let's put them head-to-head on the stuff that really matters. First up is accuracy, especially when it comes to technical stuff, like generating code. The latest independent benchmarks show Claude hitting 95% functional code accuracy. That's a full 10 points ahead of GPT 5.4. Now, that 10% gap might not sound huge, but believe me, it's the difference between a working layout and a broken one that a developer has to fix. It means more reliable outputs straight out of the box. So if we break it down further, you can see some clear trade-offs.
Claude definitely takes the win on accuracy. Cost is interesting. GPT tokens are cheaper, but because Claude has that giant memory, you often need fewer API calls, so the total cost per job can actually be about the same or even lower. When it comes to customization, GPT has a bigger plugin store, for sure. But Claude's automatic brand learning, that's a unique feature that GPT just doesn't have. And finally, on safety, Claude is just stricter by design, which is a huge plus for any business.
Now, before we wrap this up, it's really important to have a balanced perspective. No tool is a silver bullet, so let's be honest about the limitations you need to keep in mind.
Here's the key takeaway. You have to treat Claude as an incredibly capable first draft assistant, not as the final decision maker. It can still make mistakes, hallucinate, so every output needs a human to review it. You should also be cautious about data privacy anytime you upload sensitive info to the cloud. And remember, the whole question of who owns AI-generated designs is still a bit of a legal gray area.
And that leaves us with one final thought. For the millions of us who aren't designers but still need to create professional-looking visuals, a tool like this is a massive leap forward. Now, it's not going to replace talented human designers, but it could fundamentally change how teams everywhere turn a simple idea into a real, finished product. The only question left is, how are you going to use it?